It takes a sec sometimes. It shouldn't be there in a sec.
Oh, okay. Okay. So again, Jordan Sheridan live. This is going to be a bit of a shorter stream because it is Wednesday, which is our weekly Rokfin exclusive, which I'll be teasing up, telling you what's going to be on our Rokfin exclusive in just a little bit. Jen will be joining me in a little bit for this live stream, and then she'll be on with me for our Rokfin stream. Smash the like button. Share this live stream to as many people as you can. There's no getting around it. We are being just murdered right now on YouTube. If you look at our numbers, they're just nauseating. It is what it is. We've talked about it over and over again. It's very clear to me. People don't see our videos. You don't just go from 1,000 to 2,000 live viewers to 200. 1,000 to 2,000 views for videos, in an hour to 200 views in an hour. It doesn't make any sense. But this is the world we're living in, the suppressed digital world. I will be frank. We are trying to figure out a way to just raise more money so we could advertise. Because honestly, the only way we're going to even be able to get out of or get around YouTube's algorithm screwery is advertising. And Colin, if you could just go to the YouTube video page so I could show people what I'm talking about in terms of our views. Because some people might be like, oh, Jordan, you're not worse than anyone else. Trust me, our situation right now, it's worse. It's worse than most that I've seen. So if you go to the video, you could full screen that, Colin. Steven Donziger, a clip of an interview I did with him, less than 500 views in 3 hours. A clip from our live stream yesterday, less than 1,000 views in 5 hours. Go down the list. Another Steven Donziger clip, less than 1,000 views a day ago. This cool new feature we've been doing. This is your brain on corporate media. Just over 1,000 views in a day. I could go down the list, but you could see 1,000 views, less than 2,000. Even with a congressman, we're getting 1,000 views. So it's tough sledding right now for sure. That's why we're trying to build our membership because obviously with YouTube screwing around with us, very, very difficult if you're not getting reach, meaning you're not getting to all your subscribers. We're not even, most of our 121,000 subscribers are not seeing us or getting notified when we're live. So if you're not even getting to them, much less new people, it's very hard to get people to sign up as paying members, which is what we need to be able to afford everything. So tough sledding right now. But it is what it is. We just got to keep going. So I will wait just a few minutes to tease what we're going to be doing on Rokfin today. We'll be going live on Rokfin. Make sure you have the Friday done there. We'll be going live at Rokfin probably in about 20, 25 minutes. Again, it's our weekly exclusive with Rokfin. I believe, because I know a lot of Status Coup members were kind of a little concerned that, yay, I'm a paying Status Coup member. I can't watch the weekly Rokfin. You have to be a Rokfin premium member, which I'll try to sell you on in a little bit. But we are going to try and take the Rokfin live stream, the weekly exclusive Rokfin live stream, and post a sizable portion of it on our website for members, for paying members. That's patrons too. So you won't be able to watch it live on Rokfin that day, but watch at least half of it the next day. So that we're waiting to hear back from Rokfin, but if they don't get back to me, we're just going to do it. So that's the deal. So I want to start. We at Status Coup and we don't really tend to get into like the DC horse race, like who's up, who's down, negotiations, who will cave, that kind of thing. But what's going on right now between the Republicans within the Democratic Party, and by the way, smash that like button. We need every single person share this live stream, smash the like button. We need you to help us get it out there because obviously we're being extremely, extremely suppressed, as you can see. what's going on right now is very, very important because it's not just about this 3.5 trillion reconciliation deal. What is happening right now will be able to tell us for the next 3 to 4 years, maybe the next decade, if the progressives that we are electing into Congress, and everybody has a different feeling, half the people think they're sellouts and all this, and a lot of, half the people are disappointed, but still, want to take things as they come. It really will determine if these people are actually going to not just hold the line, but be willing to stop, just block the 30-year neoliberal watering down of legislation. Because if they don't, if they cave and they end up accepting, some $2 trillion reconciliation deal, which would be down considerably from the $6 trillion that originally was sought for by Bernie Sanders and others, then, it's just the corporate Democrats and the Republicans that are Democrats, because the Democratic Party is basically moderate Republicans. It's like the 1990s Republicans now are Democrats. They're just going to continue doing what they always do, which is break their promises to progressives, end up backtracking away from the promises they made, and then ask their allies in the corporate media to make the progressives the villains, so that progressives could get blamed, and then progressives are going to keep folding. So what's going on right now is very, very important. And I want to start by, I really want to focus on the media, because, there's not much new. Tomorrow is supposed to be the vote on the bipartisan infrastructure deal, which is the $500 billion infrastructure deal. I don't really call it 1.2 trillion because there's only 500 billion in there. Hold on. Melanie. Yeah. So some people are saying we're being suppressed because of our name. It's not our name, but we did add news to our name a while ago. So it's not our name. We were suppressed long before January 6th. So some people have thought, oh, they're suppressing us because of our name. And after January 6th and the attempted coup, we were suppressed a long before then. It just seems to go in waves, where there are stretches of time where, like right now, it's anemic and it doesn't make sense, where you have 121,000 subscribers, yet you're getting 200 views in an hour. It doesn't make sense. There's channels with like 10,000 subscribers that a video will get like 1,000 views sometimes. So it just doesn't make sense at all. So I want to play this clip. So basically where things are is Biden, who, remember, we were told by the media during the Democratic primary, this was the pragmatic choice. This is a guy who knew how to work behind the scenes, who knew how to work the aisle on both sides, who knew how to get things done and make deals. Well, Biden's basically been in fetal position, letting his presidency, and if this is his agenda, I say if because I think this is really Bernie's agenda, and Biden is just pretending to care about these policies. He's basically spineless and in fetal position, not being able to do anything, and basically being embarrassed by two Republicans pretending to be Democrats in Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. But I want to focus on the media, because part of why I think progressives usually will not fight is because they're deathly afraid of being painted as the immature or kamikaze pilots which will then, they think, if they're painted that way by the media successfully, hurt the progressive movement and hurt progressive candidates' chances to win. So before that, I want to play this clip from Ro Khanna last night on CNN. I won't take credit for it, but I did interview Ro over the weekend. I thought it was pretty tough. I thought I challenged him pretty strongly. And then he went on CNN last night and said this.
We have said is that if there is an agreement that the president strikes on this Build Back Better agenda, we will vote for the bipartisan bill. We're willing to negotiate. We've said front load the benefits, don't have them as many years. All of the folks at the White House know we're being reasonable, and literally one senator, Kyrsten Sinema, is holding up the will of the entire Democratic Party.
So, first of all, I want to give Ro credit, but also tell him why it's one thing he said was wrong. I've been telling them to be more aggressive. This is the first time I've even heard them even kind of sort of challenge Kirsten Sinema. I'd like him to throw Joe Manchin in there. But hey, we criticize, so we should also give credit. Credit to him for finally speaking Sinema's name and basically saying this Democrat is holding everything hostage. What I have been saying to Rokana, I said it in our interview, I've been tweeting about it. I don't get why you, Bernie Sanders, AOC, the rest of the squad, or whatever you want to call them, I have no idea why you're not in Arizona right now. I don't understand why you are not on their doorstep. I don't understand why you're not holding massive rallies shaming these Republicans. You might say, he said in our interview, well, I don't think that would make a difference. Well, A, you don't know because you've never done it. And B, all of these people, Manchin, Sinema, I mean, they're corrupt, but they're also human beings. People tend not to like being shamed in their state that they represent with 10,000 people at a rally. It would only it would only help your leveraging position. The media would cover it. So I'd like to see Roe go a step further, because if they're going to vote no tomorrow, Rokana, Pramila Jayapal, the squad have said they will not vote tomorrow for the bipartisan infrastructure deal if there's no reconciliation deal. Hey, it's the progressives in the House, so there's still time for them to fold. At the moment, I don't want to predict it. It seems like they're not going to vote for the bipartisan deal if there is no reconciliation deal with it. So as of now, it looks good that they will hold firm and not vote for it. But you still have this long window to actually apply pressure to Sinema, to Manchin, to other House members who have been blocking this and obstructing by showing up and going on offense and applying pressure. Apply pressure to them. So now let's move on to CNN, who, along with MSNBC, it's like they are on the payroll of the DNC. They have been not even hiding the fact that they are essentially operating as a super PAC right now for the Republicans within the Democratic Party. They are giving free advertising, basically, to try and paint progressives as, the children in this scenario who are holding up progress. And, will they tank the bill? Blah, 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 blah. I want to show you Jake Tupperware's intro today on his show, which I think is on right now.
All they need is a number. How hard can it be? The lead starts right now. Democrats are locked in a multi-trillion-dollar staring contest and, quote, nobody wants to blink, just hours before the big vote on infrastructure. But right now, it looks as though progressives will tank. It may all come down to White House meetings with one key senator. And who is that? Well, it's Arizona's Kirsten Sinema, now at the center of the negotiations and essentially in control of whether Biden's agenda will live or die. We'll take a closer look at the marathon-running, barrier-breaking Green Partier turned moderate. Plus, the harsh new reality under Taliban rule. CNN visited musicians who are shutting down in fear of a pending ban on music.
We could come out of that. So you see how Jake Tupperware right there, and this is right now. So this has been going on basically for days now, where CNN, they're challenging the progressives. They don't challenge the moderate. Stop calling these people moderates. They're fucking Republicans, and they're political terrorists too. They have been painting it as, well, isn't it better to get something than nothing? And are you willing, progressives, to tank this bill? Well, who's tanking? Who's tanking what? Who's tanking what? And by the way, smash the like button. We got almost 200 people watching. As a reminder to people that came in late, this is the short teaser live stream. Our main live stream today will be on Rokfin, our weekly exclusive on Rokfin. You got to sign up as a Rokfin Premium member to watch this one. We will have parts of our Rokfin Premium live stream from today on our website for members tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Members will be able to see some of this. We also cut some of the parts. Colin, we might as well preview it now. And Jen's going to join me in just a little bit. Boy, today's Rokfin. Oh, I can't wait. And we could never talk about this on YouTube. But in about 10, 15 minutes, we're going on Rokfin. If you think you knew about the Bush families evil? George W., Papa Bush, Prescott Bush? Wait for this Rokfin stream. Jen and I are going to go in depth back through history into the Bush family dynasty. It does connect to today. And the CIA, the CIA the story just came out that the corporate media is ignoring. Yahoo News' story that they just broke on the CIA plotting to assassinate and kidnap and assassinate Julian Assange. Put it back up, Colin, if you can. Well, let's just take a trip down memory lane, because the Bush dynasty made a lot of money, and still George W. Bush has inherited a ton of money made off of Jews murdered in the Holocaust. They were also, the Bush family was part of a secret society that had a lot of evil within that. This has basically, what we're going to be reporting on today on Rokfin, has basically been ignored for over half a century now by the mainstream media. There's been here and there some reporting on it among independent media, but this is a real scandal. And we just saw Bush speaking out at 9/11, 20-year anniversary, and being considered, when Trump was president, we missed the days of George W. Bush. And basically he's been, sanitized and rehabilitated in the media's eyes. Wait till you learn about the Bush profiting off the Holocaust and their secret society. Rokfin.com/statuscoup will be starting in about 10-15 minutes. Please sign up. Rokfin.com/statuscoup. Rokfin is another way for us to gain revenue. And as you can see from our YouTube numbers right now, we need to be on different platforms. And Rokfin, fortunately, we get a guaranteed amount from Rokfin every month. So I hope, if it's in your budget, sign up. Rokfin.com/statuscoup. We will have part of this stream posted tomorrow for our Status Coup members too. So members, you might not be able to watch it live today, but you will have access to some of it tomorrow. But we hope more people will sign up for Rokfin. Rokfin.com/statuscoup, where we could report uncensored on a lot of things that, frankly, if we even talked about it here, we'd be kicked off in a nanosecond. So getting back to CNN. So you just saw Jake Tupperware there say, "Oh, the progressives going to tank this." Well, wait a minute. Originally, the president of the U.S., Biden, who, again, we were told he's a magician. He could get deals done in Washington, D.C. He could work between Democrats and Republicans. Well, apparently he can't even work within his own party to get anything done. But so what I want to get across here, Biden and Pelosi set this where both of these deals would be voted on together. Pelosi has already moonwalked away from that. This week, she is saying now that we will go with the bipartisan deal early, which is why I've always said to progressives, these people are not dealing in good faith. Do not trust Nancy Pelosi. Do not trust Chuck Schumer. Do not trust Joe Biden. But why is it the progressives tanking? Why aren't they using that language for Kyrsten Sinema or Joe Manchin when you have 48 senators willing to vote for all of this, the $3.5 trillion and the bipartisan infrastructure deal, and 2 senators obstructing the whole thing? 2 senators. Just so happens one of those senators, Kyrsten Sinema, got $750,000 recently from dark money groups and big pharma. Elephant in the room. We can't talk about corruption here. We just have to call her a moderate who's concerned with the price tag and who's concerned with raising taxes. Well, why is she concerned with the price tag? Why is she concerned with raising taxes on the wealthy? Could it be that she just made nearly $1 million from big pharma groups, from Wall Street groups to obstruct this? This, in a normal country, would be reported as corruption, rampant corruption. So I also want to show, we showed Jake Tapper framing it and trying to villainize progressives as tanking this. Let's show Jake Tupperware's interview with a House moderate, Stephanie Murphy. She is a Florida congresswoman who is another Republican pretending to be moderate.
About this with Democratic Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy of Florida. She's the co-chair of the Blue Dog Coalition. That's a group of centrist Democrats. Congresswoman, good to see you again. So Speaker Pelosi just told CNN that tomorrow's vote on infrastructure could be delayed if she does not have the votes to pass it, which
Colin, let's stop that for a second.
That seems to be
So sorry to stop it right away, but what exactly is centrist about these people? Can we start asking, why do they use these terms? That's not just CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, all of them. What is centrist about voting against policies that have 60 to 70% approval and popularity in your district? You are a representative. What is centrist about that? I don't even understand why that term would be used when these people are voting against the people they're supposed to represent. You're supposed to represent the will of the people who voted for you. So what is centrist about that? Why are we calling moderates, Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, moderates, when they are literally being cheerleaded on by Republicans for obstructing? This is why I've always said, folks, and people have kind of just, maybe they've heard it, but haven't understood it. It's fine. We should protest outside Pelosi's office. Sunrise Movement, that's great. Sunrise Movement wants to protest outside Mitch McConnell's office. That's great. You want to protest outside BlackRock? Great. You want to protest outside Amazon? Great. Politicians, corporations? Great. Why are there no protests outside CNN? Why are there no protests outside MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post? Their addresses are public, folks. Why are these propagandists, these public relations stooges, masquerading as journalists, why are they allowed to do this in complete comfort? I'm not talking about anything other than protests, civil disobedience, no violence or anything. But we can't get 100 to 200 people outside CNN to shame them for this kind of coverage? Are you kidding? Continue, Colin.
That seems to be the situation. You've said if that happens, if she pulls the vote, it's a, quote, significant breach in trust among Democrats. Who would be committing that breach? Speaker Pelosi, the progressives, who?
As you may recall, we had a deal with Speaker Pelosi, and she put it in a statement that she would not only put the infrastructure bill up for a vote, but also rally the vote for that. And then every single Democrat in the House voted on a rules package that embodied that agreement. So we have the commitment of everybody that we are moving forward tomorrow on a vote on infrastructure. And it's so important that we do. It'd be a breach of trust with the American people. They've been waiting a long time.
Stop it right now, Colin. Stop it right now. A breach of trust with the American people? Oh my God. Have you been outside today? Have you been outside the last few weeks? Have you been seeing the candlelight gatherings? People just sitting there with their candles waiting for that infrastructure deal? Are you kidding me? A breach with the American people. Listen, I've been around the country for 6 years. Thank you to our Status Coup members for sending us. We need your help to fund these reporting trips. The roads are terrible. No doubt. Trust me, there aren't, people standing around just desperately waiting for the bipartisan infrastructure deal. You know who is? The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, a couple labor unions, Wall Street banks who are going to make money off of this privatized infrastructure deal. CNN never wants to mention that this is privatization on steroids, this infrastructure deal. It's all privatization. There's no public. It's not like the good old days of FDR. It's not government jobs. It's privatization. So Jake Tapper doesn't challenge, like, well, wait, you're saying, dishonor the agreement we made with the American people. Well, wasn't there an agreement with the American people that we would pass a $3.5 trillion reconciliation deal for universal pre-K, free community college, expanding Medicare to dental, hearing, and vision, massive dollars for affordable housing. You have in there paid family medical leave. There's a whole lot of other things in there. Is it Medicare for all? No, it's not. Is it toppling the duopoly and burning down the system? No, it's not. Is it incremental? No, I don't think it is. There's a lot of things in there that progressives have been fighting for many years that are not temporary, but structural systems. They are changing systems permanently, like Medicare, for example, like community college, for example, things not easy to be rolled back if a Republican gets in there. So we as progressives should still be fighting for the radical change, which I really think is going to come more outside of the system through economic boycotts, which I've talked about extensively. But we shouldn't poo-poo what's in this deal. So this woman's full of shit. She is a Republican pretending to be a Democrat down in Florida. Let's continue.
This investment into their roads and bridges, clean water, some climate change provisions, as well as broadband. There's so much good in this bill. That
Stop it, Colin. I can't even get through 3 seconds of this without telling Colin to stop it. This liar, and of course, Jake Tapper, he probably knows this, but isn't going to challenge her. Biden originally proposed for this bipartisan infrastructure deal $2 trillion. It got stripped down to $500 billion in new money. So it was originally proposed by the president, $2 trillion. It's been watered down to $500 billion in new money. The only reason they're saying $1.2 trillion is because the rest of it is just money that's already been allocated being redirected. In this deal, the money has been stripped for climate proposals. There is no real climate proposals in this deal. So you got people like Stephanie Murphy going up there and lying that, oh, this deal has, important things for climate. You got Josh Geitheimer, who's another political terrorist, going on CNN, MSNBC, saying the same thing. There are no major climate proposals in this deal. And another majorly important deal. Another major important thing here. You have this talking point that this is going to fix America's water problems. No, it's not going to. Hey, I know a little bit about water if you've been following Status Coup. This is not going to fix America's water problems. The money in this deal is not even what has been asked for in terms of replacing lead pipes all over this country. Not to mention lead pipes, and Jen and I talked about this the other day. It's not just changing lead pipes. Lead is not the only thing contaminating our water. You could change every lead pipe in the country. It would be a major thing. It would definitely be a good thing and helpful, particularly to children. It really does not do much to stop the industrial pollution and dumping of waste into our waterways that's causing a lot of cancer-causing carcinogens to be dumped into your water. It's not doing much on PFAS, which is PFAS, which are cancer-causing chemicals. They are byproducts of the manufacturing process of non-stick cookware. So this is not fixing America's water problems, and that's just nonsense. Keep going.
And it must have the full support. And I have no doubt that President Biden and Speaker Pelosi, with all their years working on the Hill, in the Senate and in the House, that they can get this done when they put their shoulder into this and ensure that the votes are there.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but the deal that Speaker Pelosi cut was that there would be a vote on infrastructure a few days ago, on Monday. And not only that there would be a vote, but that it would pass. So the breach has already happened. I guess the question I have is, how much longer are you willing to wait for this vote to happen on infrastructure? One of the members of the House Progressive Caucus, Congressman Pocan, yesterday told me he thinks this is going to take a couple weeks to sort out.
You know, Jake, she committed to bringing the bill up by Monday, and so she did. She committed to that. We had to debate the bill, as is normal practice in the House, but the vote really needs to take place, not just because of the commitment that she made to have the vote tomorrow, but also because our surface transportation bill runs out tomorrow, and we really cannot leave the American people without the necessary funding for infrastructure across this country. That would be a dereliction of duty.
You get the point. First of all, when he says, well, the breach has already happened. No. The breach, the president said these things have to be voted on together. Pelosi said these things have to be voted on together. Then she, for some reason, agreed to the bipartisan deal being voted on the 27th, which that was the breach. See, that was the breach. These things were supposed to be together, and Pelosi breached it by putting forth September 27th to vote on the bipartisan deal. And then Pelosi this week has continued to breach it by saying we'll vote on the bipartisan deal on Thursday without the reconciliation deal ready. So it's Pelosi, Schumer, and Biden, of course, approves of it because Biden really wants, if you ask me, Biden really, really wants the 1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure deal because for him, it's not a matter of what is the good policy, what will actually help the most working class people. What will help the most working class people is the 3.5 trillion reconciliation deal, which actually has a lot in there for families. All Biden cares about is this fetish he has with striking a bipartisan deal so he could break the fever in Washington, D.C. But let me tell you what bipartisan means, code. Bipartisan is just code for what will please the donors. Donors love bipartisanship because you know what was bipartisan? NAFTA, which has destroyed the country. You know what was bipartisan? Repealing Glass-Steagall destroyed the country. Crime bill destroyed the country. Welfare reform destroyed the country. I could go a Patriot Act. On and on and on. That's what you get with bipartisan. The donors love it. Donors love it. It doesn't affect their bottom line. They're usually not losing a lot of money. They're usually profiting off of bipartisanship. So Jake Tapper, not shocking at all. Not shocking at all. And if you have the stomach, if you don't worry. I'm watching it for you. You're seeing this almost every hour, this kind of nonsense from CNN. I haven't watched MSNBC yet. I don't know if my stomach's strong enough for that because I'm sure they're worse than CNN right now. But all of this is being framed as let's get something. Who's gonna blink first? Isn't something better than nothing? These people have no concern whatsoever about what will actually help working class people. They have zero interest in reporting on why Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin are blocking this, why in the House, Josh Gottheimer, Stephanie Murphy. Colin, if you have the donor sheet in terms of Stephanie Murphy, who I just showed her interview with Jake Tupperware, we didn't play it, but she said later on in the interview, nobody's going to leverage their vote. No one's going to leverage their vote to convince me to vote a certain way. I vote for the people. Well, you vote for the people or Blackstone, who's your top donor in your career? Cigna Corp, Big Healthcare, Council of Insurance Agents and Brokers. Yeah. Talk about the proletariat on your donor sheet. Blue Cross Blue Shield, massive healthcare company. Venture Partners, Bridge Investment Group. I mean, this woman's donor sheets, maybe this is why she refuses to vote for the 3.5 trillion reconciliation deal. But CNN, Politico, all of these political nerds, they just make it like this sports event. Like who's going to blink first? Who's going to fold? Whose stomach is stronger? And they just leave out the most important thing. These people are corrupt. These people are bought off. These people are evil and literally voting against the interests of the people who voted for them and they're supposed to represent because their donors are bankrolling them. And it's just a continual power play for these people to stay in office so they don't have to get a real job. It is vile. Jen.
Yes. Hello.
You came into this late, but I was just giving a seminar on Jake Tupperware's nonsense framing that progressives, will they tank the bill? His interview with Stephanie Murphy, another House moderate who's really a Republican. And I say it again, and we said it yesterday. When are the progressives going to do more than just tweet credit to Ro Khanna for actually naming Kirsten Sinema by name? You still got time, folks. Get your ass to West Virginia. Get your ass to Arizona. Hold a rally and shame these corporate pigs. That's all.
I agree.
Jen's not going to answer because she is currently planning our Rokfin stream. So, Jen, we got 240 people watching. Why should people sign up right now to be a Status Coup Rokfin premium member? And what is... No, I'm not yelling at Jen. Don't make rumors. What will we be talking about for the next show today.
My migraine. That's what we're going to talk about. Yeah. So you guys need to join Rokfin because I am not feeling well. That's not the only reason. I have a migraine that just won't go away today. But this story is so intriguing to me. It's something I've been intrigued by for literally decades. And it's all about Skull and Bones at Yale and how Skull and Bones members, including the Bush dynasty, have impacted our history for well over a century. Very exciting stuff.
We should also add, you could Google it. There's information out there, but I've never really seen it reported extensively. George W. Bush, who's been kind of just rehabilitated by the media over the last 20 years after sending us into a fake war, a real war based on lies. George W. Bush, who inherited, his Papa Bush inherited from Prescott Bush. He's making a lot of money, and he will go to his grave with a lot of money that the Bush family made off of the Jews murdered in the Holocaust. The Bush family, I was just reading a little bit today. It is ungodly. It is ungodly. They literally profited off the Holocaust and never gave the money back, never apologized, never even denied it because they never had to. The media was too busy slobbering over them. So we're going to be talking about the Bush crime syndicate coming up now.
It's speaking of bones, we'll talk about some unconfirmed things too. So I'll tell you when it's clear when, on the Rokfin stream, only for premium members, because we can certainly not talk about this on YouTube. So I'm trying to be careful in what I say exactly. I was about to say something that I'm not going to quite say yet until we're on Rokfin. But there are disgusting things that have been purportedly literally done with bones by certain folks that you guys all know. Damn it! This thing I was trying to pull up this thing to kind of tease you guys a bit. But in addition to the Bushes, there are many well-known names and many well-known family names who have been part of this elite, very secretive society. Again, this is at Yale. William Howard Taft, Walter Camp, Lyman Spitzer, Potter Stewart, McGeorge Bundy, George Herbert Walker Bush, William F. Buckley Jr., John Kerry, Frederick Wallace Smith, George W. Bush, Steve Schwartzman, and then they started letting girls in, Dana Milbank, and a lot of others. And interestingly, Joe Lieberman declined an invitation. And he is possibly, I don't know how many have ever declined because it's such a big secret, but he's potentially one of the only people who ever declined. And it's a very interesting reason why he declined. I cannot even I essentially read a book today. So I told you guys when I first got here, like this is something I've been intrigued by ever since Joshua Jackson made the Skulls movie. My dream guy, good old Josh Jackson. And so I started looking into it back then. That movie was made based off of Skull and Bones. And when you think about the number of historical incidents, to put it mildly, that Skull and Bones members have had their hands in, it's insane. You guys will not believe how many things. And it's so intertwined with foreign relations, banking, as Jordan said, the Holocaust, the CIA. You'll hear names like Vanderbilt, Rockefeller. It's all of these elites. This is not conspiracy cuckoo banana stuff. This is true stuff. It's crazy.
I'm enticed. Yes. If I'm not signed up yet to Rokfin, I'm going to go sign up right now. Rokfin.com/StatusCoup. And just so people are clear, the Skull and Bones was essentially kind of like a fraternity at Yale. Is that it?
No, it's a secret society. So they definitely have their fraternities, and I'll talk about kind of what differentiates a secret society from a fraternity as well. From a fraternity or sorority or whatever, like the Greek system as well. It's also not the only secret society at Yale, but it is definitely the one with the most influence by far. So this is crazy nut stuff. Like I cannot even begin to tell you. I'm very excited. Stuff like this really gets me going. So I hope you guys will all follow us to Rokfin.
And before we go, one programming alert. Friday morning, if you could wake up this early, I'm not pleased that I have to, but Friday morning, it is Stephen Donzinger's sentencing, unfortunately. The human rights attorney who has been railroaded and basically become a corporate political prisoner due to Chevron. I just interviewed him the other day. He's been under house arrest, and I interviewed him in his apartment in New York. There is a rally being held, I guess, outside the court where his sentencing is. So Marianne Williamson will be there. Legendary rock star Roger Waters, Ron Kuby, who is one of his attorneys. So we will be there covering it live. It's at 8:30 in the morning Eastern. So hopefully folks on the East Coast can get up a little bit early, or if you're already up that early. I think this is super important. This is essentially criminalizing environmentalism. Stephen Donziger and others, part of his group, successfully prosecuted Chevron. Chevron was ordered to pay $9 billion by an judge in Ecuador. And instead of paying it, they went on a decades-long corporate crusade against Stephen Donziger, who Chevron-friendly judges and prosecutors have railroaded. So we'll be live covering the sentencing from that rally. It's possible he'll be sent, if he's convicted, to an actual jail sentence. Hopefully he just gets time served already, which has been 2 years, but it's possible he'll be put into prison as soon as Friday. So we'll be there covering the rally. But right now we're headed over to Rokfin for our weekly premium show. As I told Status Coup members, we get it if you can't afford Rokfin Premium. For you, we will post some of this for members tomorrow on our website membership section. So statuscoup.com/join if you're a member. And if you're a member, you go to our website, become a member. Next to become a member is members content. So you should see some of this broadcast tomorrow on our website. That's it. We're heading over to Rokfin.
But I will say go because we're also running a membership drive right now. So actually go to statuscoup.com/fall, which has the instructions on how you can sign up as a member and get some free Status Coup swag at the same time. All the details are there. There are Status Coup prints, shirts, sweatshirts. It's really awesome. We hope all of you will be wearing Status Coup swag. Already a member? No problem. Buy a friend, family member, whoever, membership, and there you go. Get some swag. Keep it or give it to them. I would keep it if I were you.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you over on Rokfin in probably 2 or 3 minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. It's going to be awesome. Rokfin.com/statuscoup.